Look,
God.
I'm totally screwed because I established my channel with 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. uploads back
Yeah.
in like March, April, around the time of my first Marauder video. And so if I upload something at a different time, it gets a lot less traffic. YouTube has like accustomed itself, like gotten used to me uploading at certain times, and so I have to upload at like 7 a.m. now, or I lose half my
you
viewers.
can schedule an upload, right?
I know. I know I can schedule uploads, but the thing is,
Content must be made.
I'm so
Content must flow.
I'm so obsessive over my own material that I am editing and rendering up until the last second and making changes. I'll spend 20 minutes rendering a video, and then I'll upload it for 40 minutes, and then I'll watch it, and then I'll see one frame, I'm like, that's wrong, and then I'll have to go in and re-edit and render and upload. I'm like that. I have a problem.
No. Hey, I can see that too. It happened to me as well. There's been multiple moments where I'd render a video for an hour and I'd stay up until 4 a.m. and then I had to wake up at like 10 o'clock in the morning just to go to work.
Oh, real quick.
I know how you feel about like the whole like the perfectionistic feel about the videos where you like watch it and then you just see that small thing, even if it may not mean as much to like someone where like they'll just pass by it. It might mean like a lot to you.
Or you misspell falter and you spell fatler.
Fatler.
and then you say, no, I meant to do that because I'm talking about the mancubus and he's fat. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Ketchup, it's been a while. You take it. Go.
Oh. See, I'm normally good at being put on the spot, but today is not one of those days. Hello, everybody. It has been a long time since we've done one of these, and we have a nice collection of guests. It's nice to have Mayo and Spud back in the fray, and we're going to be talking about probably Doom Eternal, is fair to assume. And at the same time, if you've watched one of these before, you kind of know that we go off topic a fair amount, and I think today is likely to be one of those days, isn't it?
Well, it usually happens that way. We talk like 60% Doom and 40% whatever the hell comes to our minds.
Hamburger.
We have the Spun Hunter here as always. Spud, how are you doing?
Yeah. Just hanging out on the other side of the planet. Hanging out for that Tara's Nevada update. That master level.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hungry.
Man.
I'm itching for it.
I cannot wait.
Any second now. Yeah. But other than that, yeah. Living the dream. And it's been exciting seeing the growth of some of the Doom creators in the community. Trav, some of your videos are just hysterical.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I mean, I haven't been introduced yet. I'm not here yet.
Yeah, okay. Getting to that, of course.
Rewind. Yeah, rip.
Who are the guests joining us today? We have two prominent voices in the Doom Eternal YouTube community here with us. We have Trav Guy, or That Trav Guy, and we also have Buckio. Welcome to the Doom Eternal podcast, guys.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very tired.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we do this early morning so that Ketchup can be up and moving around by 1 p.m. and Spud is up at like what 10 p.m. right?
So 11. It's not bad.
Yeah, so a lot of our guests end up making the sacrifice.
I feel kind of selfish in that way. I'm going to be honest, because like I'm not doing like weekly shows like North American time like I used to, so I'm not a zombie by 1 p.m. anymore.
Sure.
I'm no longer on that pro gamer sleeping pattern. I'm good to go. Like I'm the only one that's like really ready to go, and I feel so bad.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who wakes up at 2 p.m. every day, and it's 7 in the morning for me right now.
Dude, Ketchup, like. Thing is, there's no other way we can do it though, because if we do it in the morning time for you, then it's 3 a.m. for everyone else, and if we do it later in the day, then it's 3 a.m. for Spud. So,
Dude, it's the lesser of the two evils, I imagine.
yeah. See, it's literally the only way to make this work. Sometimes I reach out to people. I'm like, hey, how about you, like David Zemansky, right? Or like two guests ago. I'm like, hey, man, let's do an interview together. It's going to be at 6 a.m.
I mean, when you told me the time, I thought you were joking.
There's literally no other way to do this.
I guess it's normal for me because like I always wake up at like around 8 a.m.
Buckio, you're a little robotic in your voice.
Am I robotic?
Yes, you're really robotic right now.
Oh,
do you want
You
to?
didn't tell me you invited
My
Daft Punk.
secret
What the
identity
hell?
has been revealed.
Before we hit record, you
theory-
were good. Do you want to disconnect and reconnect?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try to get Buckio back in here.
I know sometimes applications can be really funny about like the same microphone being used in two instances as well.
Oh.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it, just on the off chance.
You were fine at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Hold on a second. Let me turn off Audacity.
Yes.
Wait, talk.
Talk.
Colonel.
Yeah. No. My voice
Coming
application
this
seems to be
summer.
working just fine on the battlefield.
Wow.
Damn it.
That's
Keeps
a
alerting guards.
that's a great snake, man. That's really.
That's what
really
I
good.
said. I told him, like, if I ever review Metal Gear, I'm hiring you to do some runs.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Well, I said we'd go off topic, and I think we did in record
Right.
time. Let's just keep rolling with that.
What topics do we have on the table today?
That's definitely a
Uh,
Mayo question.
Condiment committee plus potato and Mario.
Okay. Well.
I love how you just say aloud condiments, potato, Mario.
That
And
was entirely by chance, by the way. It was I got to know Ketchup around. I mean, I've known him.
Wait, it's not a gimmick?
No, well, I mean,
What?
Well,
Okay.
actually, technically, yes, but not in the context that you think it is.
Yeah, not intentionally at all. Ketchup and I were Mortal Kombat 9 players across, like halfway across the world, and we didn't know each other. But he started playing Quan Chi in MKX, and Quan Chi has been my guy since like '97, since since MK4. I'm like, hell yeah, Ketchup's playing MK. He's playing Quan Chi, so we talked a little bit, but not very much. But we did make that initial connection, and then with Doom Eternal, we were both heavily into it, so we reconnected. And hey, Mayo, Ketchup, and then he referred me to Spud, and I was like, Mayo, Ketchup, potato. This is too good to be true. We got to go with it.
It works out way too well.
It works
It was
really
magic.
well.
It was magic.
Right. Okay, I forgot the main question I had. What are we talking about today?
I think that's it. That was the podcast.
Oh,
Thanks for joining us today, guys. We'll see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Ketchup tossed it to me because normally I do have like a list of questions, but today
Okay.
I don't really. We have two guests today. We have three co-hosts. I figured today, in the time of Doom Eternal, where it's been a few months since an official release, and we don't have like a new DLC coming. We have master levels right now. I feel like this is kind of like the post Doom time, where we have things coming, but it's not like we're waiting for like a big, huge like next chapter of Doom Eternal. And so I
Yeah.
figured now was just kind of a nice time for all three of us who are kind of different sides of things to all just come together and talk for a while.
okay. I'm
Oh,
down.
yeah.
And I feel like as
Um,
well, one of the big things is that, especially recently, there's been very much, I think, the rise of the Doom Eternal content creation community.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
and I guess that's very fitting for this show because there are so many people out there now making Doom videos, and a lot of it is still kind of single player driven. Everyone can has their own little element that they can spin on things, and I think it's more prominent now with modern Doom than ever. Because I don't recall seeing it to this capacity with Doom 2016, for example. I think it's definitely become a Doom Eternal thing. So I'd say, I don't know how you may, but I think this is a pretty appropriate topic to start out with, kind of just where everyone got started with Doom Eternal content and where it has kind of led them now.
I mean, like you said, it comes from a genuine love for the game. I I think that it has a lot to do with Doom Eternal being like, despite people saying like it beats you into shape for only like one way to play, it reaches a lot more people than say 2016 did, in my opinion. And also, like you said, the tech part of it, people just appealing, or like someone like your content, for example, Mayo, you'll do a video about like the falter system or whatever, something that not everyone gets, and then they find that and they're like, oh, let me go check that out, and that kind of expands everything altogether.
Yeah, no, I totally agree in terms of like the passion that's in the Doom community about Doom Eternal and the wide variety of content creators. And you're right, there's a huge variety of them when it comes to people who report the news or who maybe just review the game, or they'll be covering the tech of the game, or maybe they could be platform sided like console or PC and showing off like the tech side of things with that stuff. But um, there is a lot of people who also do game discussion. They talk about the game mechanics or the game design, or maybe even speculation, like you said too. And this is something that I didn't really see before in the community, where there's just like a huge passion, there's a huge drive where everyone seems to be like one big family, if that's how I describe it. One big family. People have like their own interests and their own opinions, and they kind of just share it around and sort of like accumulate like a group.
It's especially interesting for a game that is, I mean, I would say 99% a single player experience. There is the online community, there's the multiplayer community, God bless them, right? But there is a large core fan base that just loves playing the campaign and the DLC or mods, and for a game that is on a majority level a single player experience, to be at a position where we are now over a year later and still talking about the game, I just don't see that in other games. I mean, maybe that's just my experience, but do you guys know of other single player games that form this kind of community around it?
No.
I mean, from YouTube alone, I feel like there's definitely, surely there has to be some kind of like connection between other single player games that are kind of renowned for their difficulty. So, the Souls games, for example, I imagine there's
Devil May Cry
probably
community I could see also being pretty passionate about like their gameplay and their combos and techs and stuff like that.
I mean, there has to be a similarity between games that are a lot more mechanic focused than you might expect, and the more you play the game, the more kind of gets unlocked to you, and that learning experience come from just being able to beat harder difficulties, maybe beat the game faster, get a higher score, or whatever it is. And I think there's definitely an element of being able to relate to that. You know what I mean? So I think Doom Eternal fits into that side of things really well, even before you factor in multiplayer or any kind of extra content.
I think it has a lot to do with how high the skill ceiling is, for one thing.
Yeah.
The skill ceiling is a
sorry.
lot higher than 2016. Sorry, I interrupted you. What's up?
No, sorry, I did delay on my end. Sorry, go ahead.
I forgot where I was.
You're talking
right.
about
the skill ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, with 2016, everyone brings up this example, but I think it's a valid one. How in 2016 you could easily just beat the game with the super shotgun and Gauss cannon. And I mean, you could do that with 2016 or with Eternal and their variant of weapons on easier difficulties, but I think Hugo mentioned it best, how if you're playing 2016 on harder difficulties, it sort of steers you towards the exploits. Whereas Eternal, like, you need to have a genuine understanding of all of the mechanics and how the game works, and understanding what weapons work best against what enemies, understanding the falter system, etc. It leads to a lot of experimentation and a lot of replays, other than just like trying to beat the game faster, for example.
Yeah, well, like with the tech, like I said, like channels like for instance, what Mayo's covered over the last year, always discovering little nuances with falters and some of the weapon mod combos. It keeps people engaged. Like if a game has the single player games that have, if you think about like a game like a Call of Duty kind of game, they're very primitive in the sense that you got a couple guns and you just aim down sight, and they got a bullet count, and then that's it. But with games like Doom Eternal, there's a good couple years of discovering new nuances new metas, new things to combine that keep people engaged. And I think that's, you can see the difference between 2016 and Eternal, and that really speaks for itself with those combinations and the different upgrades and whatnot. Because in 2016, I felt like there was a couple sort of meme combos that you could have, and that was it. And people learned those, and then they abused them, and then destroyed the game. Whereas Eternal, it feels like you can kind of make a lot of things work, even at like the top tier level. You know, like your top speed runner.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys, with Doom 2016, was there anything really, like tech-wise or content-wise, beyond, say, the speedrunning side of things, of how to break the game and how to beat it as fast as possible? Was there really anything like that? Because I played the hell out of Doom 2016, but I wasn't involved in the community or the YouTube scene. I got involved with the Doom Eternal scene, but just my cursory knowledge of Doom 2016, there weren't so many people talking about all the things you can do, all the different like play styles or mods or strategies. Doom Eternal feels like such a much more interesting game to talk about. Was any of that seen around with Doom 2016 that any of you guys know? Maybe I'm just not aware of it.
I mean, I definitely wasn't nearly as involved. I think that the scene was there, but it just wasn't nearly as big as it is today. And even then, it was more like, here's some cool skips. If you go up to this wall and you mash the space button, you'll clip out of bounds. And it was really just stuff like that. And I was more of an observer. I wasn't very active in it. But I was aware of what the Doom scene was doing at the time. But again, it was more towards understanding exploits rather than understanding the game.
Okay. Yeah, because that's been the really interesting thing over the past, I don't know, 6 months or so, is seeing all the channels talking about very specific strategies that aren't just about breaking the game or speedrunning. They're more about like how you can enjoy to play the game, which I think is the most important thing. I mean, I've put up my own stuff, like you guys have mentioned the faltering system. I've done my microwave beam stuff, but there's been some other videos from other channels that I've seen that have talked about like how to perfectly detonate remote det rockets in between PB rocket, and then someone just recently figured out how to do like a double lock-on rocket tech. And there's just Siler with his channel about all the different crazy ways to take out marauders that aren't about beating the game as fast as possible. They're just about all these cool ways that you can play the game. And that makes me feel like there must be such a larger community out there of people who are playing this game, not just because they want to break it or beat it as fast as possible or dominate it, but because they want to just play it because they enjoy playing it. And I think that must mean that they're going in the right direction with the series. Despite its controversies, if they have a community that's this passionate, to me that means that they must be doing the right thing.
Oh, of course. I feel like I'm taking up a lot of the conversation, so feel free to interrupt me.
No, this is your episode, folks. You are the guests.
I feel like high-level Doom Eternal play has really become a work of art. Like, it's less... Like, obviously, you know, there's the understanding of what works best in a scenario. But then there's people, I forget the name already, but the guy that you mentioned who does all these creative Marauder takedowns. Like, watching him play, like, he has such a deep understanding of how this AI works, and watching it play out is so interesting to watch. And it's creative. It feels like a way of expressing your understanding of the game in a way that isn't really possible with a lot of other games, in my opinion.
I agree.
That's really my
sorry.
point. No, fuck you, talk.
Oh, fuck. Okay. But no, I agree with Doom Eternal. When you kind of compare it to 2016, there's a bit of like the game mechanic sense of like freedom of
choosing to express yourself with how you play in Doom Eternal. Doom 2016, I think this is something we've already talked about, where it when you guys actually said it like right, you said it perfectly, where it sort of like steers you to the point where you're exploiting, you're using like the superpower weapons, or like the weapons that are much more powerful, like SSG, Gauss Cannon. Just swap between those and you'll be good for a while. Doom Eternal, however, it brings a lot more variety, but also it pushes you to use up like your resources and manage your ammo, as well as like the plethora of mods you have. The mods that like they bring a bit like their own flavor and spin to Doom Eternal. The meat hook adding like huge I can't speak today. Versatile options. And then you got like the chain gun shield, where it could be defensive or maybe an offensive tool where you use it to bash against demons. But I think that's something that like the community I found really likes the most, because with all these mods that you got the sticky bombs, you got full auto, you got the heat blast or the microwave beam, or maybe you even have the arbalest or the destroyer blade. So many mods that you can mix and mash together when you're taking care of the demons. You can fight the hordes of hell in your own style. And I think that's something that everyone really likes, where they're able to express themselves with their gameplay in like their own style, rather than just watching the same gameplay that's someone using the mods. But like when you look at every other gameplay, it's just people using the same weapons without really the quick swapping.
Yeah. I mean, really, the only mod that I can think of that I don't really use that often is like Heat Blast for the plasma rifle.
I love Heat Blast.
Okay, motherfucker.
but
I do.
But Buckio, when you say that, that's not a statement that no one uses Heat Blast. That's that you like to use Heat Blast that much. There will be other players that are just as successful as you that lean into Heat Blast more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I've seen people who use it as a try to catch up with a demon in battle mode. They sort of like charge up the heat blast, and when they're just sort of chasing the one demon's running away, they use the heat blast to catch them if they're just like sporadically dashing in the air trying to avoid their line of sight. But I've also seen some people who utilize the heat blast, where they would just fire the weapon, and once like the first heat blast is ready, they just let it out. That's something that I actually used to do too. 2016, I used the heat blast on the plasma rifle. I really liked it. Doom Eternal, when I was playing on the PS4 with my Splint, I was using the Heat Blast, and I absolutely loved it. Like that was before I kind of like got into like the content creation side of things, where I'm watching YouTubers are talking about, oh, use this. This one is the meta, where this is the quickest like quick swapping speed possible, and it sort of just opens your eyes a bit with like the weapon variety and the mods and their properties, and how you could utilize it in your own way and develop your own play style.
Forgive me for asking. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Discord delay absolutely destroys me all the time.
Fuck you, Discord. Anyway, no, I was gonna say I'm not exactly a ground zero Buckio aficionado. When did you get into the content creation scene?
I got in actually as early as April, because that's when I just made like
this
a little,
year.
Last year, not
okay.
This year.
Damn, dude, that's quick, bro.
That's the fastest 3K subs I've ever seen. Holy shit.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, before in April, I made a video about like the console guide to Doom Eternal. And, it was just for fun. I was like, I seen people online that were just kind of like bashing on people who play on console and battle mode.
That is such bullshit.
I was like, yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, oh, you gotta be shitting me, dude. You can't do the meat hook tech. I'm like, you sure? Probably can't do the FPS thing, but you can do some of it. So I sort of like, I don't want to say it, but like I kind of use spite to my advantage. Like I use like the people who just kind of like belittle the console players and use that as like my advantage or my leverage to make the video. That sort of motivated me to keep making the video.
Spite.
Yeah. I don't use it as often.
You wanted to show them the way.
I'm sorry, what's that?
You wanted to show them the way. You wanted to turn them.
Yeah.
In a way.
Hey man, motivation comes from everywhere. Like that really is what it comes down to. Like if whatever gives you your motivation to make the stuff that you want to make, if it's people saying this or that about a rather significant part of the community, then that's where motivation comes from. And then it results in good content. And more importantly, I think for this kind of stuff, eye-opening content that really is able to prove people wrong and show that, maybe we haven't 100% cracked the code on the console side of things. Because, you can look at it and go, oh, console's going to be worse because of this and that, this and that. But there are people out there that can basically just prove it wrong, like factually prove it wrong. There's no discussion. Yeah. It's like, you say it can't be done, I prove it can. Wicked. Everyone is now wiser. That's a great way to push it.
Yeah, there's definitely like a sense of passion that kind of seeps out, and it really shines on the content instead of just talking out of your ass about a topic you think you know about. But
hey, that's my entire content you're talking about there.
Well, it's good talking out of your ass content. Okay, I like it.
Oh, thank you. Ketchup, you were gonna say something, and I yelled over you. What were you gonna say?
Oh, it was during the discussion of Heat Blast, actually. One of my favorite things, on top of it being like demon specific, where being able to blow off like a bunch of weak points in one Heat Blast is a really nice feeling. It's I think really the single target shred damage, and being able to keep certain like major enemies in a certain state of falter, like a extended state of falter, where let's say there's like, one of my favorite things to do with Heat Blast is in a fight, you just prepare it so the kind of higher damage is prepared. And what you do is you essentially go in against like a tyrant or something, and then you essentially kind of juggle the two grenades that you have and the initial Heat Blast that falters in some way. And you kind of just like keep that constant stream of damage going. And then by the time the extended damage is over and then the final falter is done on the second grenade, you use another Heat Blast because you've built it up in time. And then by that point, almost any demon in the game is pretty much dead. They're either going to be dead by that point or they're just about to die. And the cool thing about that is that you've only used plasma rifle ammo to do it. So the rest of your ammo can be spent on everything else. So it's kind of like a nice way of getting like big ass like single target shred without having to use like a shit ton of ammo. That's like one of my favorite ways of using it. Like obviously I'm sure there's probably more optimal ways of doing it, but it's just a lot of fun to like just shit on that one demon with like just one weapon.
Right. And you see that's the amazing thing right there, because I hear that and my initial thought is I want to go try that. Like, I want to boot up the game right fucking now and try that, because that sounds fun. And now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of reminds me of like a fighting game in a way, where like you like I'm not like adversed in Mortal Kombat like you guys are, so I don't know if this will land. But like I spent a lot of time on like Marvel versus Capcom, and I would watch a bunch of people play that and then see them try out new tech and then try or like combos and whatever and try that. It's like it's tickling that same part of my brain with Doom Eternal.
It will. No, that is very, very much able to be linked, I think, because it's just something about a game that has extended mechanics, and more importantly, within those mechanics, like options that or things that people often like might not do because it's not considered like, the absolute, oh, this is just what you do. And it kind of just motivates you. I get the same thing, like Mortal Kombat X, for example, which isn't the latest one, but that kind of has a few occasional kind of like streams with high level exhibitions and whatever. And these are people that have been playing the game for 6 years, right? So they're doing cool stuff that none of us had really seen back in the game's kind of prime time. And whenever you see like someone picking this weird variation or this weird character and they're just doing something that you've never seen, the first thing I do is just boot up PC MKX and just sit in training mode and do it. I just figure out how to do it, because there's just this idea of just learning more about something that is but I guess it kind of just funnels back into Doom Eternal. Knowledge is power, right? And it's like the more you figure out that is possible, the kind of greater satisfaction that you get, because now you've got this extra thing on top of all the other shit that you already know. And there is, Mayo and I talk about this all the time, the absolute kind of comparisons you can make between Doom Eternal and fighting games. It's pretty surprising just how many connections there are, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, because in a fighting game, there's always your top tier, right? There's always your top 3 characters that you're always going to see in the top 8 of every tournament. But there's also a large number of characters that are very fun to play. They have their own strengths, but you have to actually really enjoy playing the character to do well with them. Like Ketchup, you'll remember this. You remember like 2013, 2014, 16-bit with Catwoman?
Yes.
Like, come on. Like Catwoman was a mid-tier character. And no one was going to do well with that character unless they really loved the way that character played and wanted to dedicate themselves to that character. And then that person ends up like in top 8, sometimes like top 3, top 2 with that character. And Doom Eternal has a lot of similarities to fighting games in that way, in that there's a lot of different ways to play the game that you can find that you identify with, even if it isn't the way that other people play the game. And I don't know, I guess that's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, I mean, like you could look at the weapon mods as the button combos, and you can always find like your starting combo, and always look to like see what you could use as a finisher. You could be using Precision Bolt and Rocket as sort of like the starting combo where you go bam, 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 and maybe you finish it against a Baron of Hell with like a blasting damage when you're retreating with a ballista shot, and then you're able to use a meat hook and just try to like traverse around the area, look maybe for resources, stack up an armor or ammo, or maybe you could just back off with a ballista shot from the force that propels you, and then use the meat hook to sort of leverage yourself up in the air, and then rain rockets or grenades or an ice bomb onto the Baron of Hell. There's many things that you can utilize in your own style in terms of combos, but also the properties of the mods to your own advantage, where you can actually create your own playstyle and how you engage with a certain demon. Like how Ketchup was saying when he was using the grenades and the heat blast. I never thought of that. I literally never thought of that. When Trav said like he wants to boot that up, I had the same idea. But at the same time, though, that's the thing about Doom Eternal that I like. There's so many ways that you can engage a demon. There's ways you can. There's ways that others can. And there's ways that others can that actually are much better than how you can. I'll be honest with you. Like there's been moments I've watched some streamers like fight against some demons, and I look at it and I go, wow, you literally blow my fucking gameplay out of the water. My play style is like nothing compared to yours. But also, maybe you could just figure out some other ways to engage the demons on your own way. Like I personally love to fight against the Baron of Hell with a shield, the chain gun shield, because as long as you keep dashing against him, he's in that falter animation. He goes like as you keep hitting them, and then like you can do a blood punch with the shield still up. You're still like mitigating damage, and then by the time that chain gun shield's gone, he's already in glory kill state.
Oh, man, that's one thing too. Like I dropped into the Doom Discord one day, and like some random guy was like, "Oh, hey, Trav, I know your content. Did you know about this tech?" And then like they just all it was just blood punching with the shield up, and I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
And that fucking blew my mind. I'm like, I need to go try that right now, because that just like opened up so many new possibilities.
Yeah, not only that though, but like you could also use the chain gun shield to like boost yourself around the arena where you got like really fast speed. If you just dash with it up on top of a demon, you'll just go.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Buckio, you published that like half a year ago or something, right?
Yeah. I actually.
Oh God, I'm a fake fan.
This has been so cool.
Yeah, it was actually someone named Zambit from Spicy Demons. He discovered it through a battle mode match, which I probably credited. Yeah. But like I remember coming across it. I was playing the Super Gorness Master level, and like you know how like the Kako sort of like zoom all around you. I was doing a glory kill. I pulled up a shield and I wanted to dash away, and then all of a sudden I just went like out of nowhere.
Huh. Well, time to try that on my Nintendo Switch.
Oh man, has that thing been updated a while? I'm wondering when the DLC's coming for that thing.
I have no idea. I haven't played the Switch port since it launched.
Yeah, I like the Switch port. I think it's really nice. I took it with me to work a couple times, and you know, it's definitely a very nice novelty. It's a night and day difference playing at 30 FPS. Whereas, you know, you'd be playing on console 60 FPS. I feel as if in terms of like the groove of things, with how fast paced Doom Eternal is, you know, 60 FPS is that sweet spot where like it looks nice and it feels nice. But 30 FPS is definitely something you gotta adjust to.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never played Doom Eternal higher than 60 FPS.
Seriously?
It's supposed to be technically harder because the demons are faster. That's why some speed runners were getting varied results, but like there were similar skill sets, and people were like, "What's going on here?" I remember having a discussion with Devo in the Doom scene about it, and a lot of people didn't realize in the early days that if you're capped at 60, attacks are a bit slower from demons. So if you're bouncing at 200 or something plus, things are just a tiny bit faster. It's I don't know if they've changed stuff recently.
So I'm not DLC, as good as I thought I am.
yeah.
Well,
you've actually got it on easy mode. You've got it on Ultra Nightmare Light. Okay.
Damn.
Nightmare Light. Here's the thing though, because like 200 FPS, like there is a huge difference when you're playing at 200 FPS. Sometimes projectiles may be affected, but it's definitely the demons. There's certain demons that will just sort of zip around at 200 FPS. Some of them will just kind of like zip towards you if you're close by, like the Hell Knight, when he's sort of doing that lunging animation where he's gonna like backhand you. Instead of just sort of like finishing the animation where he's properly taking, the appropriate speed that sort of like matches the animation, he just sort of goes like up to you. He just like skates up to you like Disney on Ice, and then he just fucking smacks you when you least expect it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the carcass has a very the higher FPS. It does feel like it's more like a blink.
It's up to you, and then they're able to just like consistently Beyblade you, and with CC crowd control on top of that, you're kind of just like you're put in like a purgatory state where you're just still in the air.
I've never thought to call it that, but I know exactly what you mean by Beyblade. That's fucking hilarious. Sorry, that just caught me off guard.
That's caught me on so many Ultra Nightmares. Like back when I was trying to do Ultra Nightmare, like that was my worst enemy, is being next to a carcass and he starts going, and he's just like spinning around. And I have like full stack, and it's like, what the shit? Where the fuck's all my health gone? And just one carcass that's just like right in front of your face.
And he leaves you so vulnerable to the point where every other projectile will just come straight towards you. And by the time you're out of that whole crowd control thing, you can finally, like catch your breath and move. And boom, there's like 50 other projectiles coming at you, and there's other demons that are already circling around you. So he's definitely a demon you don't want to be nearby. But at 30 FPS, that's when things get a little bit slower, especially with the projectiles. Yeah, like projectiles become like much slower. It feels as if you actually have like a much better reaction time, especially on the Switch version of Doom Eternal. Like you see Mancubus, he fires like his little like spicy bombs at you. I don't know what they're called, and you're able to just sort of like look at it, probably read a book, and then like move to the side. And like even at 30 FPS, I mean, like with the demons, like I said, the Hell Knight, where he's able to sort of like skate up to you when he does a melee attack at 30 FPS. He's normal.
That's kind of wild, I'll be honest.
And on top of that, if you strafe right next to a tentacle, where you just go left and right, and the tentacle pops out and he goes and attacks you, it won't hurt you.
Huh?
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't want to be tooting my horn over here, but like I did actually make a video about the FPS differences in Doom Eternal and how it affects your difficulty. And there's a lot of things that 200 FPS, 60 FPS, and 30 FPS has.
Well,
Interesting.
Send me that in a DM, okay, so I can include that link.
I'm looking for it right now.
Will do.
Yeah, it is noticeable even on a subconscious level, because I had when Doom Eternal launched and I was doing all the Ultra Nightmare runs and all that, my gaming PC was just, for lack of a better term, just shit in the bed, and it was a slow downfall, and I was dropping frames because I was also streaming on the same rig. So ended up buying a streaming PC and then upgrading the gaming PC, and my frames went up, but then everything just felt more intense. Like I felt like the game was a bit more in slow motion for me before. So it wasn't until like I had a couple of discussions, and then I think your video even popped up on my feed once, which confirmed things. I was like, this all makes sense now. So yeah, it is noticeable. It really is.
I think that with high FPS in Doom Eternal, it's sort of like a love and hate relationship. You've got things that could be a disadvantage at high FPS, like I said, where there's skating enemies
and there's projectiles. They may be coming towards you a little bit faster. But at higher FPS, you got that sweet yeet hook. Okay, you're able to like just go and fling all across the map, and on top of that, the B hops, they're a little bit easier to manage. Quick swapping is greatly easier. You're able to like go at a much faster speed due to
that's how they
higher
do
frames.
it.
Yeah.
Because like okay, so I'm locked at 60 FPS. Like my monitors don't go higher than that. I'm sure I could modify the game in a way to run as if it's at a higher frame rate, but I haven't tried that. And I look at these people play and I'm like, how the fuck are you quick swapping that fast? Now it makes sense.
What's your refresh rate on your monitor?
60.
Oh, 60? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if you turn off VSync and Doom Eternal, it might help.
I'll look into it later. I mean, it's not a priority for me right now. But
it'll be life changing.
Someday.
It'll be life changing, especially with
240 hertz in your life.
Yeah, I'll get a higher refresh rate monitor one of these days. I just upgraded my rig, so maybe that'll be soon.
If you ever play multiplayer games, you like all of a sudden you have without much effort, you just subconsciously you sort of through osmosis just pick up better accuracy.
Right.
Like through it, because you notice it. Like I played a lot of Quake Champions, and when I started playing that when it first came out, I was like a rehabilitating gamer. Like I hadn't gamed for a while, and I had a crusty office monitor rather than like a gaming monitor.
Right.
And I had some people break on my balls saying, "Oh, you play on 60, you stuck on 60 frames, this, that, and the other." And then as soon as I went to a 144 hertz monitor, all of a sudden I was hitting these shots that I could never hit before. And I sort of like had that sort of third person moment where I looked at my hands and I was like, oh, who are you? You have that, man. So like definitely invest in it one day.
Interesting.
It's totally true. People say that once you go high frame rate, you can't go back. And for years I was like, God. Yeah, whatever. 60 frames per second, it's fine. And then around the time the Horde mode came out last year, I found a really good deal on a small 21-inch monitor that was 165. I'll get it used. I'll see what it feels like. And I plugged it in, and I will never go back. There's no way. There's no way. I'm playing at high frame rate all the time now. And what's so weird about it is that you play it for a while, you play it for a few days, and since you guys make YouTube videos, you'll be playing at like 144, but you'll be recording at 60. And then you'll look at your footage and you'll go, "Oh God, something's wrong with my video card." Because it looks like entire chunks are missing from your video because your eyes are not used to filling in the gaps anymore. Your eyes are used to seeing all the information. And then you go and you look at a 60 FPS video and it'll literally give you a migraine. But actually having it is glorious.
It's like a 9-day difference. I remember when I picked up my 165 hertz monitor. This is when I built my PC, and I would always play Doom Eternal on PS4 and on my gaming laptop with like a 1050 GeForce graphics card. It was 60 hertz. I had to like bump the resolution down all the way to 720 to the point where like you'd be straining your eyes looking at the game just for the FPS for the meat hook. But when I built the PC and I got the 165 hertz monitor and I booted it up, it was before I played Doom Eternal that everything just seemed to be like amazing. I was just astonished from everything. Like you look at Discord, and if you just scroll through like the server icons at a high FPS, you can just see how smooth and vibrant it is. And then you compare it to like a 60 hertz monitor, it's like choppy and everything. So it's just like it's like the small things where even if you take a window and you just sort of like move it around on your monitor and your desktop, and you just see how smooth it is. Like super pleasant to look at. Yeah,
it was a huge change.
I'll bring people over to the house and I'll just they don't even know anything about Doom Eternal, and I'll just load up Super Gore Nest, and then where you walk outside and you see that first view of the world, just in fire, and I'll just sit people in front of the monitor and say, "Hey, just walk out here and move the mouse around," and they can't believe it.
No, it's the difference it can make, dude. It really is. I had the same thing when I for a while I'd only had a 60 monitor because it's used for fighting games and stuff, which never go over 60. So when Doom Eternal was about to come out, I was like, nah, screw this. I sorted out a monitor to make sure. I think I got 140. And the immediate night and day difference is made to basically everything. Everything that I play on here, whether it's Doom Eternal, whether it's Quake, like everything else, like it's just like so silky smooth. And I didn't realize like years ago when I kind of initially moved to PC, and this is like 10 years ago, you never really realize just how much of a difference like equipment can make, even when it comes down to like, I have a Logitech wireless mouse now that I use because I play with my keyboard on my lap when I play on FPS, because I'm a very low sensitivity. Well, I'm a very low sensitivity player, so I use pretty much the entire table for my right hand. And then also I was at a QuakeCon, and the Japanese Quake community had come out for that year. I think it was 2018 if I remember, and they were super generous. They gave me one of their kind of artisan mouse mats. And I'd not used it in the past because I didn't have a lot of space for it. I didn't want to, damage it or anything, because it was a very special little gift they gave. And about a month ago, I set it up where every time I'm playing an FPS that's like that, whether it's Quake, whether it's Doom Eternal, I'll put this mouse mat down with this wireless mouse, and it's like, holy shit. It's just completely unhinged. There's no restrictions anymore, nothing to get in the way. And it's like, you never realize how much of a difference even the smallest thing can make, and it's super sick.
Yeah, you become the mouse.
Yeah, enter the Matrix, Spud.
Really makes you feel like the mouse.
It really makes you feel like a mouse hidden
Really
through
makes
the
you
walls.
feel like you're Doomslayer.
God. Surprised I didn't see that as a tagline for a review for the game. Really makes you feel like a demon killing machine.
Really makes you feel like a man.
I had water in my mouth, you asshole.
Add.
Makes you choke.
Got him.
So we recently I guess how long ago was it since we did the last podcast? It was like early March or so. And we've been through like pre-Tag 2 and post-Tag 2, like it feels like two different Doom Eternal communities.
Yeah.
And I mean, we went through some rough periods, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fans not understanding the devs and the devs not understanding the fans. I'm not saying the fans as in like every single person who plays Doom Eternal is the same person. Right. But I'm saying, the voices on YouTube and streamers and prominent players and stuff like that, and the developers, like, it felt like we understood each other for a while, but we weren't really understanding each other. And here we are. We're about 2 months away from the release of Tag 2, and we went through a good amount of drama. I mean, some of that I contributed to.
Has it already been 2 months?
It has been 2 months.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird because it was a weird 5 days. I had my part in the weirdness, which I'm not exactly proud of, but I think everyone was weird for a while, and I think a lot of that comes down to like the devs and the players. When I'm referring to players, I'm talking about myself, you guys, other people, not exactly understanding each other and what they wanted from each other and where we're going together. But currently, as of late May, early June 2021, it feels like we're all in a really good place moving forward. And I'm curious as to how all of you guys are feeling about the future of Doom Eternal. Talking to Ketchup, Spud, Buckio, Trav Guy, all people who are on just different corners of the Doom Eternal world. How are you feeling about things going forward through the rest of this year?
Who wants to go first?
Oh boy, I need some time to form thoughts.
Well, I think from I guess from the perspective of, say, like the Ultra Nightmare scene, like the guys who, like, when a master level's out, or the DLC or the game itself, you had that group, the Bite Me's, Draco's, Devs, myself, a whole bunch of others that hit it first, and then they're racing, doing their thing, getting their times. I think there'll be a master level or two that'll come out. The usual suspects will come in. Zero Master will come and crush it, do the world domination on it, being the complete legend he is, and that'll be that scene. They'll hit it and smash it for a week or two, and then I think that'll be kind of it. Then I think content creation will just sort of be, finding new little Easter eggs and things over time, as people do. And it depends what the modding community brings to the scene, because there is limited capacity for them. They don't have an SDK kit. They don't have a modding toolkit for them to work with. They're sort of working with
right. They're not building their own levels or anything.
They're injecting changes through little leaks of code and things that they can do with the console and the engine and all that.
Mhm.
So with that limited amount of creativity they can bring to the table, I don't know how much more they can do. Like we've already got a horde mode, we've got randomizers. People can sort of swap out some skins and chuck on Hugo's face on the precision bolt. So yeah, from that side of things, I think things will slow down dramatically after the master levels are done. But there'll still always be passionate people making memes and doing new things,
Well, Spud, you say after the master levels are done, as if we have a date for it. I think they're gonna continue. I think that they're gonna this plays into the whole topic of there being a strong community of people that are continuing to play this game. And if there's a strong community of people playing the game and people talking about the game and promoting the game, then the sales are going to continue to be decent. More than you would expect for a single player game in its second year. You know what I mean? And I think that they're going to continue with master levels. I think that there's more things that they want to do with this game. Because this isn't Doom 2016 where they put out the game and then they're like, okay, the game's done. Hugo Martin has been doing weekly streams with the community, and I don't think that means that they're ready to say goodbye to this game. And I think they're going to be doing more things, and the more things they do with it and the stronger the community is, the more people get interested in it and the more people want to play it. So I don't think there's going to be like a few more master levels and they're done. I think Doom Eternal probably has a bright future ahead of it.
It maybe does, but I thought that was mostly because they have one last update going for the multiplayer that they wanted to try and galvanize, because they know they have a single player audience that's massive on the game, but the multiplayer audience does suffer. Like they've only got a very small crew of elite players that are
all
going hard at it.
got was a map.
Well,
Please, Hugo.
yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, is in those interviews with the whole community and others, he's been talking about that patch for the game, but I also think it was just a general, just another like that. It wasn't just the community. He did talk to other people outside of it as well. There was a few big name Twitch people that got involved in those interviews that weren't, I wouldn't consider like Doom, like members of the Doom community, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a marketing aspect to it as well. I think it was more than just that they got more things coming. They're still, you can still bring in people without say updating the game or whatever. You know what I mean? But I do think there's an angle to like their push with this update they're doing for multiplayer, because he seems really keen to try and get people to back into the multiplayer, because they're saying they're making some dramatic changes to it and adding a ranked mode. So that'll be interesting. But I still think it'd be hard to pull people in on that. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but I feel like when people try a multiplayer game and it didn't tickle their pickle, they're kind of like, they make their mind and then they're done.
Sure, yeah.
This is coming from a dude who like my content is based around like multiplayer FPS games, so I don't know how they'll fare with that. Fist, I'll handball that onto Ketchup now. What is the future?
It's always hard to say with a game with kind of like almost like two communities in one, because I think you guys are kind of hit the nail on the head with all the single player stuff. But at the same time, multiplayer communities, it's going to be naturally a bit more tough. I think with an asymmetric multiplayer, it's a bit more niche kind of automatically. I think that I definitely recall there being, and this is just the way it is. Yeah, I definitely recall there being more people kind of actively grinding and going in with Doom 2016s, but I think it's because it's a familiar space, right? You've got all the customization, you've got all the weapons, you've got the fact that it's kind of just Doom 2016's game, but with a PvP element. I'm definitely always on the side of saying that Doom 2016's multiplayer is my favorite like FPS multiplayer of all time. So there's definitely an element of bias there, and I say that as someone that loves battle mode and 2016. Like I love both of them for sure. But when you have a mode like battle mode, which is really fun, like it's super sick, and if you love Doom Eternal and you've kind of mastered a lot of the mechanics, so much of that becomes transferable to battle mode, and then battle mode ends up having its own meta because certain things you do in single player won't work against a human demon that knows what you're trying to do, right? So there's almost an extra layer, which again I'm all for, and I grinded the Revenant specifically, I think, more than anything I'd done for the past few years. I don't know why I was so motivated to just get really good with Revenant, but I had a fucking great time. But I think it kind of goes into what Spud was talking about, where like if someone plays multiplayer and it's not really for them and they can't fully gel with it, it is harder to get people to kind of give it another shot. But at the same time, I think it's a common issue that you have with asymmetric multiplayer in general, is that when it's already kind of not your standard multiplayer experience, it will kind of make things a bit trickier still for people to get into it. But that said, the people that play it really fucking love it. So all I can hope for is just a bit of new content, because the new map they introduced was, in my opinion, the best map they put in. So I think it's the most fun map for sure, because it lets every demon and slayer can really do what they want on that map. It was super, super good. So more of that would be great. And I'd love to see more demons as well, because 2016 had the extra demons that they introduced, the new weapons. Some of them became really useful, like the kinetic mine, and other weapons. They may not be crazy useful, but they're fun. And that was always really funny to me, actually, is seeing I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's the Reaper. I think it was called. It's been a long time since I've used the weapon. But
yeah.
Yeah, it was the demon kind of burst rifle with a charged single shot secondary in the multiplayer. Yeah. For those that don't know, when you're playing Ancient Gods Part 2 and you're fighting the kind of human or the possessed, those like soldiers, they're holding that multiplayer weapon. I was like, wait, what's going on here? There's like multiplayer dudes sitting around Ancient Gods. It was a nice little...
Which was a neat way of reusing content too.
I agree. Because a lot of people would never have even known that was even from
to the untrained Doom fan, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a cool looking gun."
Yeah. When do I get?
Yeah, that's me. I had no idea.
Yeah, you can. It's a really fun weapon, Mayo. It's in the multiplayer, like it fired like a burst at close range on its primary, and if you did the secondary fire, it was like a charged projectile that did like really decent damage.
Okay.
One day, dude.
You could also see the 2016 lightning gun with the Sentinels.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, the lightning gun. I was so disappointed in 2016. That gun was so bad.
It was underwhelming.
Yeah, you use it in Quake and it's like, and then you use it in Doom and it's just
in Quake
like,
Champions, it's fucking busted. But
I mean, it's great, man. Catch someone off a jump pad and you just go pull. Juggle them.
But all right. Before I give my thoughts on the future of Doom Eternal, do you guys think that the community side of it will be reignited once invasion mode drops, if it drops?
I don't think invasion mode is coming at all.
That's fair. If I'll be honest,
it's the dad that went for a packet of smokes and never came back. All right, it's not coming back.
So I'm going to be honest, though. When it comes to invasion, I'm always going to have a level of understanding, because it seems, and this is just speculative, like this is not fact, but it seems very much like the whole kind of work from home and the lockdowns all around the world and everything else, it kind of seemed like that did hit Doom Eternal pretty hard. I think they were very transparent about that. And I kind of feel like Invasion must have been like one of, if not like the biggest casualty, because they had to put absolute focus onto DLC, right? Because that was their big push. But I want Invasion to happen because it allows, and I just said that multiplayer and the single player scene are very much separate communities in Doom Eternal. Invasion automatically will allow those to collide. You're going to have people that play battle mode with the demons on Invasion, and you can have these like god tier single player like speedrunners, whatever it is, versus that. Like there's so much community content that could be created through that collaboration alone, because the mode puts the two of them in a blender. Like I really hope it does come. It's going to be like an element of Doom Eternal that I don't think we've ever seen before, where it's like,
likewise,
if you want to look at the game at the highest level, take the two best scenes and just fucking put them together and then just let it go.
Would you allow me to crap all over you guys with this, with Invasion mode? I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go. Two reasons why Invasion mode will never, ever, ever happen. One, there is no anti-cheat. And so if you're playing and you're playing your Ultra Nightmare campaign and someone comes in with a cheated infinite health Revenant, you're going to be pissed. All right? So one, there's no anti-cheat. And two, even if they could get Invasion mode working, I think it would be a very fleeting sort of fad. I think people would turn it on for a little bit and they'd be like, oh, this is cool. They can invade or I can invade. And after a couple times, they'd be like, nah, okay. I think people would leave it. And I would bet money on the fact that, on the idea that id Software is probably thinking of other things that they can implement into this game that would keep player retention higher other than Invasion. Because as cool as Invasion is, it can't work without an anti-cheat. And it'll probably be something that a few players will try out and then leave behind. And so why focus so much time on it?
You know what I think its strength would have been is trying to knock down the GOAT gamer speedrunners.
Sure, but would they even turn it on?
Doing, like community events.
Would they even? It would have to be. It would have to be an event or something. They wouldn't. Speedrunners aren't just going to turn it on and hope that someone randomly comes in and fucks them up.
Yeah.
It's an awesome idea, but like you guys said, because of the pandemic, it's probably sacrificed.
Do you know what's always been asked from, and always has been and always will be? Is co-op.
Oh, co-op would be so great.
I would love to see co-op, but I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Oh no, it's not.
It would have to be rebalanced. You'd have to have a rebalanced game.
That's like when people say that they want deathmatch. Like, so much of the moveset and tools would need to either be eliminated or reworked if you wanted to have an efficient deathmatch with Eternal's gameplay.
Can you imagine 8 people in the fucking cultist-based first Mancubus arena? 8 players with like double dash and meat hook.
So the thing is that I've actually always had very strong opinions about that subject on both sides, because if you were to introduce some kind of arena style mode, you would essentially take those things and turn them into power-ups and stuff like that.
Sure. So, one person can have it or something.
Yeah. So it would be like, I would see that as very much like, everyone has a super shotgun, but it's regular super shotgun. And then, let's say once every minute and a half it goes meat hook spawn, and then you would memorize or prepare for like meat hook spawning as one of the power-ups. Chainsaw could be a power-up. Like you would take the most powerful parts of the kit and you would essentially take them, and maybe you would change it so you've only got 1 dash rather than 2. So you could definitely.
Can you imagine it's like 7 players all ganging up on the one guy that has the meat hook?
I was just gonna say.
Well, so that's kind of what I mean, though, right? Is that there's definitely elements of balance you can do, but what always bothers me, and always has done, and probably always will, when we talk about like a lack of deathmatch in Doom Eternal, and I say this as someone that I sunk an unreasonable amount of time into 2016's multiplayer. Like that was where my time was spent after I did my playthroughs. Like, there was a passionate, dedicated community of Doom 2016 players, and there still is, actually. People like Bazooka Joey will still jump in and find lobbies at a certain time of day and just fucking clean house, right? There are still people that love that game, myself included. But when Doom Eternal came out and people were saying, where's deathmatch? We have battle mode? I wanted deathmatch. As someone who was like right in the trenches of 2016's multiplayer, where the fuck were those people? Because when that game came out, when Doom 2016 came out, there was videos, content, reviews. Everyone was shitting on that multiplayer. Everyone was, because it wasn't what they wanted, and it was, whether it was like too hard, whether it was like, I don't know. Everyone was complaining about it, and those that enjoyed it were just shutting the fuck up and playing it. And that really is all it comes down to. They were just playing the game, they were enjoying the game, they were playing it with people that enjoyed the game, and they just kept to themselves, and they did it. They silently just enjoyed their game up until Doom Eternal, all the way up until. But when people were talking about the multiplayer, all you'd ever see is people just throwing all kinds of shit at the mode. And it's like, I feel really bad for id, because what reason did they have to believe that people wanted it again when everyone was complaining about it? And the numbers probably reflected it too. And then battle mode comes out and everyone's like, I wanted deathmatch. I was like, you had a fucking funny way of showing it, didn't you?
They wanted deathmatch for 3 weeks and then stop playing the game and move on to something else, Ketchup. That's what they wanted.
You say that, but like I still see people clamoring for deathmatch. It's fucking crazy. And the in my opinion, I really don't want to sound elitist here, and I probably will. I think it's a case of people not knowing what they want. Like they like the idea of a deathmatch, but actually incorporating it would be a different story. Because I mean, deathmatch, like, it's well, I mean, at least in the classic days, like it was like an almost bonding experience. People are really sentimental over it. But I mean, technology's moved on, in my opinion. Maybe not tech, but
there's plenty of people, I mean, myself included, that would love to play around with the deathmatch. I bet you that the majority of the people who were angry that there was no deathmatch are people that, even if there were a deathmatch at launch, they would play it for a couple weeks and then stop playing the game. Like, it's like, so id can't make their games designed for people who are going to leave it regardless. And so I understand the risk they took with battle mode. And I even though I'm not a battle mode player and I would prefer a deathmatch, I can see why they went with a different style of thing.
Sure. And I think battle mode is fun with friends. I don't really enjoy it from a competitive point of view. But I mean, with friends, it's a fun time. That's really my full thoughts on battle mode, though.
Yeah, battle mode is fun, but if you were to compare Doom 2016 multiplayer to battle mode, you can tell that there is a big difference in terms of simplicity. Doom 2016 multiplayer, you're familiar with everything right off the bat because it's pretty in line with the campaign and the mechanics and such.
And even like the new guns,
yeah,
you can understand them pretty quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things you can easily pick up and understand. Battle mode, however, it's definitely it's different. That's what I'll say. I think it kind of restricts to like a high skill level in terms of who you go up against, because it really pressures you to master everything to like a high level. And this is something that Hugo has actually referenced battle mode as like a different difficulty. It's like a step up from Nightmare to like a whole completely unique difficulty that I think it turned off a lot of people who kind of just want to like go into the multiplayer mode and like casually enjoy playing with friends in Doom Eternal. But like when you kind of just get into a match where you have a Revenant and a Mancubus, and you're told that you can take away the weak points, but that doesn't work in battle mode. Okay, I'm going to start using my normal weapons that I do. This Mancubus is coming at me at 50 kilometers an hour. He's just blasting my ass with fire. And this Revenant is just barraging me. I don't even know anything about these cooldowns or these abilities. Yeah. And you just kind of want to give up because, like, when you jump into it, I know, like every other multiplayer game, like you want to like learn a little bit of the fundamentals. I know that Battlefield, it's a very multiplayer focused game, but the single player, especially with Battlefield 1, where it has like stories dedicated to certain aspects of the game, whether it's the tank or on foot or even on the plane, it teaches you the fundamentals of the game before you jump into the multiplayer, so you're much more familiar with it. And with battle mode, it's just a completely different game mode where if you don't actually sort of look into resources on spicy demons or around, you kind of had to dedicate like a lot of time just to learn about things, and you had to kind of go out of your way to learn these stuff.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
if
what
you have a
throws some
passing
people out.
interest in it, you're not really going to be that committed.
No, absolutely. And like I said, there's a whole variety of like demons to play as the Archvile, Marauder, especially the Marauder who doesn't have a shield, and he
Yeah.
can just come up to you and he just like I'm just saying, but like he can just come up to you and he could like fucking like shoot shotgun shells into your ass and does like 40 damage, and he's got an armor. Maybe he has armor, maybe he has haste, maybe he has like a tox box or a heal box.
Green?
Why are they purple? What does that mean? And then you got like demons. You'll be playing. Like this is how I was like before. Like I remember a friend who was playing, and he kind of stopped because he told me that he was playing and he was like chainsawing demon, and then he just lost all his loot from like one button, and he just didn't understand like how it was. He was saying like it would be longer, it'd be shorter. He didn't understand the fundamentals of certain like attributes, the abilities that the demons could have. It's just there isn't much simplicity that is provided in the game for battle mode. You can go to Spicy Demons. Spicy Demons has like a plethora of information about the demons, about the Slayer, tips and tricks, strategies, tech. But maybe that person doesn't have Discord and they only have Doom Eternal. They have the tutorials, but the tutorials just show like the basics.
But before we move on from the topic, really my thoughts on Doom Eternal going forward. From a content side of things, I haven't really thought about it much. Like I want them to come out with new campaigns or whatever. Ultimate goal would be them releasing an SDK modding kit, which I'm not expecting anytime soon. But other than that, I mean, I think I kind of agree with Spud's take that unless there's some big content updates, it's going to be mellow. It's not going to be anything earth shattering for a while. I think that the community that's here, like everyone in this Discord call right now, like they'll keep going. I mean, like I won't be making new content on it because like I talk about games, like a game per video. I don't really like to make multiple videos on a single game. But I mean, if there's more campaigns, I'll be making more content over that. But for me, like it's just gonna be Twitch streams really. But in terms of content they could introduce to the game, I mean, obviously master levels is the easy go-to answer. But other than that, I think things are going to be slowing down until there's like big content updates.
Yeah, that's inevitable. Now the DLC 2 is out. Yeah, like you said, is official master level releases and updates. That'll be awesome. But it's not like channels that talk a lot about Doom are gonna have like 3 videos of Doom content every week for the next 3 years. It's just not. Yeah. It's not that kind of game.
The Doom YouTuber renaissance is calming down.
Yeah, we're settling into the post.
I mean, a lot of people made their names with Doom content. I would like to think that I'm one of those people. And it's formed a community. I mean, all of us are here for one reason. As in this voice call, not like God. Yeah, that's really my point.
Excellent conclusion.
We're here because of Doom. I didn't mean we're not here because of not God. Okay, you know what? I'm done with
Demon invasion. The demon invasion, rather. It brought us all together.
We were talking a bit about mods, and actually, recently the modding community on PC has figured out how to mod text in the game, and
I saw that.
Very recently, they have figured out how to mod sound.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing.
So, I mean,
it is
who
amazing,
knows? Who knows the next year? The next 2 years. What are these guys going to figure out? Even if there aren't official modding tools. I mean, Horde Mode 2 alone was wild.
I'm going to be honest. What the multiplayer mode I've really, really, really wanted, or the mode, I guess, is I've always wanted this idea of like, so the demons in battle mode are really fun to play as, like they're all really, really fun. But also, so is that part of cultist based where you control a revenant and use all the knowledge you have in battle mode to like shit on the demons harder than you could ever imagine. So, because all the tech works, everything that works in battle mode works in the cultist base. So what I've always wanted to see is like, and I'm sure this will never happen. I'm not making a fucking pitch here, but I'd love it if there was like, it's like kind of like a survival horde mode style that is co-op with another Slayer. So you work together with another Slayer to take on this like very, very intense kind of survival base mode. And then every so often, essentially you've returned the demon rune from Doom 2016, where like you could use... Oh.
Spud?
Hello?
Hello?
What?
I had to sneeze. Don't let that interrupt you.
I see.
I know I'm the loud one, but I was just sitting here quietly. Spud, you okay? You having a cut? You dying? Spud, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm still here. I'm alive.
So what I mean is like, so imagine like the demon rune comes back and it's something that you can use, whether it's a power up, whether it's a resource that you spend, I don't know. But then you can become one of the battle mode demons for like X amount of time to get through like a certain part of a wave or whatever it is. Like, I think that would be like a really fun mode, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm
sound
spitballing it here, but it just sounds like a nice way of kind of mixing everything in together. So you've got survival, you've got the co-op aspect, you've got the difficulty.
If they had to do co-op, that would be the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, bring back the demon rune, because the demons in battle mode is so much more fun.
I do have a pitch, right? You know how we're talking about co-op before, invasion, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, we already almost like, all they have to do is get a programmer, some time spent just making sure it's nice and slick and it doesn't have any major flaws. But, you know, you've had Solar and Protean make the Horde mode mod, right? And it's really engaging. And it's not just for the sweaties. Like, they can tweak it. They can make that engaging for all skill levels. They can have people play it on Hurt Me Plenty, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, whatever, right? And there'd be varying degrees of it. But basically, a horde mode, like a wave survival. And, you know, it's like another, like, you know how people like being competitive? There would be a scoreboard. There'd be the top 100 people or whatever that get a certain amount of time. They survived the demon invasion, you know. They're on a certain map that's been tweaked to just have constant spawns, multiple enemies coming at them. And I think stuff like that, that's stuff where I know speedrunning will always have new records years on, but it almost is encouraging people to crack those records because there's a visible top 100 ranked leader or a leaderboard of people with times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like with the speedrunning community, they always fight. They always got to like, oh, but you did it with a pear on your head, or you were doing it with your feet or something. That's not kosher. That's not the rules. Or they did it with glitch, or it was glitch free. And it's all this with when it's a mode in the game, and then there's like a top 100 board, and you're playing with whatever the rule set is in the game in this mode that's set up by the developers. There's not really, you can't really dispute it. They did that thing, you know. That's one thing that I genuinely wish they did do, and they could do, because I don't think there'd have to be that much resources invested in it. I mean, if two guys who are working full-time jobs made a mod part-time for the last month or two when they did release it, I think something like that can be achieved, you know?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm genuinely surprised that there isn't an official, like, Horde or Endless mode.
They need to do it, man. If they're going to keep patching the game, and they're doing battle mode too, if they really want the sales to keep going, just get a skeleton crew, a couple staff. I mean, they had Jason, the programmer who's leaving now. He's been pretty much doing all the master levels. Like, if they had a skeleton crew of like 2 or 3 people, I reckon they could do that. And it would be really engaging for people. So I hijacked your hypothetical with an actual one that I want them to do, but I don't think it's going to get done.
I'll raise you a hypothetical battle mode. Or, fuck, that's not what I meant to say. Invasion mode. Never mind. Joke's ruined.
Yeah. Well, it's so doable though. It's so doable because, like, I mean, you could almost hire Solar and Prote to do it. The
yeah,
two
just
models,
hire Prote.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Whatever they do end up putting out, there's a big difference between official publisher released content and modded, right? Because for as great as Horde Mode 2 is, right? Like it has its problems, right? Like you cross into a certain boundary and you die or something like that. And if someone releases something as modded content and it has problems, then you can say, well, it's a mod, right? But if something comes out officially, remember what happened with Super Gornus Master Level? You guys remember that, right? All right.
Oh, I remember that.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about, if I'm being honest.
Well, it was a mess. And it took a while to fix.
Oh, you mean like how the reward didn't drop?
No, I mean like the whole thing was broken.
What? I don't remember that.
Doing an Ultra Nightmare run and getting soft locked outside of the game that you just like didn't progress through.
Dude,
so
not just Ultra
health.
Nightmare. You would die in one room and then you would just be stuck behind the checkpoint door that wouldn't open. It was like it was so messed up. And
honestly, this is news to me. I didn't have any problems with it.
Well, I will refer you to my review of the Super Gorness Master Level on my YouTube channel. And the first half of it is about the bugs. But I'm sure they want to put out new stuff, but the last thing they want to do is fucking put out something that has some problems in it. My God, dude, how scary must it be to release a new thing after what other things have shown as problems?
I mean, bugs are inevitable. It's the real game-breaking ones, like getting locked out the game through your progress. Like you have to start over the whole mission because you got locked in with a save that's bugged. That stuff should have I sound like oh yeah, what do I know? Because I'm not in the development studio. But that's something that probably shouldn't have slipped out. Like that's something that I found happened to me on my my first attempt at the game, and it happened like every third game that I did it. Like it wasn't like something that it was like a 1 in a million or a 1 in 1,000 chance. It was like it was so consistent. It was like, how did this slip? I don't think if they tested like a horde mode or something like that, they could there will be bugs, obviously, especially the way they're developing now, like in COVID times, outside of the office. But I don't know. There's things you can skip. Sometimes I don't know the politics, whether there's a deadline or something they had to hit or whatever. But yeah, that was a weird one. Just the only thing that like other bugs is fine. They can patch that out. Is the one that the only one that I can feel like that justifies people getting tilted is like the one where you're getting locked out. Because I remember watching Ultra Run like the speedrunners. Like I was sort of laughing watching speedrunners get tilted. Just I get off on pain sometimes. I'm a weirdo. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
Actually, on the Switch version of Doom Eternal, when it first came out, if you died in the open area on Cultist Space when you first pick up the rocket launcher, it soft locked you. And
what?
Yeah, actually, there was two actually soft lock arenas that I came across. There was the Arc Complex one, where you're in like that big area with the jump pads and the purple goo. It's open before you gotta progress through a building. And where the Samuel Hayden's tower is like covered by the tentacles. If you died in that area, you got soft locked in a funny way where the demons would ignore you. If you died in there and you reloaded a checkpoint, the demons in that encounter arena, they would just ignore you completely. They would just do infighting. And if you got in front of the projectiles, I think they didn't do any damage. And if you just shot at them, they wouldn't even attack you until there was one left and he would be attacking you. But when you kill him, the game wouldn't let you progress, and you had to reset the mission. Yeah, that was on the Switch version for those two levels. I don't know if they fixed it yet, but I remember playing for the first time, and I was streaming it, and I got soft locked to Cultist Base, and I was like, "What the hell?" And you're basically locked in the area where the rocket launcher is, and when you get soft locked, you're basically behind bars. You're in jail.
Where are the
they
YouTube
finally
channels?
Caught Doom Guy. Sorry.
Where are the YouTube channels that are dedicated to Switch Doom Eternal? Is there one? If anyone knows
found my calling.
Please tell me if there's a Switch Doom Eternal community out there with a community leader on YouTube. I would be fascinated to see that.
Well, I have it on my Switch review actually. But I don't know if there's any other people who are actually really
Switch specific tech.
Like Mayo's content, but exclusively for Switch.
It's only for Switch. Like the microwave beam has different properties on Switch. That would be fucking amazing to see.
I'm not sure.
Maybe by FPS, maybe by 30 FPS it could be different, but I don't think so because every other video I'm looking right now for Doom Eternal on the Switch has been like
Yeah, me too.
when it first came out. So I don't know if there is actually a channel dedicated to the Switch version of Doom Eternal, or maybe they're just like a mix mash where it's like a console dedicated channel that does like periodically like the Switch and PS4 and Xbox. It's sort of like mixed
hey,
together.
I found a quick swapping guide and etc. for playing on Switch. It's a very small channel, only 200 subs, but a lot of views. So it looks like the drive for the community might be out there. Oh, and this is a recent video too, like a week ago.
Nice.
Can you put that in the chat, and I'll link that.
It's by a YouTuber named Enderwing.
Okay, sure, I'll put that.
So it looks like the drive for a Switch online Doom community is out there. Just not a lot of content creators are doing shit for it.
Okay, well, I will include that with this podcast, and we'll see if we can get some people his way.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or her way, or whoever it is. Well, guys, it's been, like an hour and a half or so? I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to hit before we say good day. Anything else on your mind?
I mean, I'm curious to ask this myself. What non-Doom games have you guys been playing?
Who wants to take that first?
Play Quake Champions almost every night. Other than that, it's kind of hard to stick with things. It just depends on.
I can't explain how happy my heart just felt hearing that. I love Quake Champions, and I have not been able to find anyone who loves the game.
Oh man, I play Quake most nights. I've been with it since before it came out, actually, during the early days. But yeah, it's super sick. I've actually been playing loads of Clutch at the moment because I've just been trying to. Now I feel like completely unrestricted with hardware. I've got all my kind of base champions down. I'm having a good time with it. And I'm like, I can now play Clutch and just control this giant flying fridge and just be like, well, everyone's going to hit me. But if I can
Clutch
master
is
his
so
head,
fun, though. I mean, I don't know if they still have his air strafing shit, but...
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah,
that's sweet.
Clutch, he still has all that stuff. But I tell you what, guys, that Apex 3v3 mode, that's quite fun. That's a good little time.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so speaking of Quake Champions, it kind of like I had because Trav, I used to like main Quake Champions as my main shtick. Like I loved it. That was my main gig. But the Australian player community, the player count kind of dropped off a bit over time, and then it got harder to play games, and it's a multiplayer game. So it's like I ended up playing overseas.
That's totally where I'm at with the game. Like I can't find matches anymore. And when I do, they're usually pretty laggy.
Yeah, so that used to be my jam. So then I bounced over to Apex Legends because it's the closest thing to like an arena shooter for a battle royale.
Yeah,
you know, it's got the speed, it's crouch sliding. There's no strafe jumping, but there's a lot to do with stacks, positioning, all that kind of stuff. Just it happens to be a large map with 60 people dropping in it. But what I was going to say was arena mode kind of drew in a few of my old Quake friends because like one, it had arena in its name, so people were like, oh, is it an arena FPS? But I think it was kind of like those elements, but it removed the battle royale side of things. So that'd be interesting, Ketchup, if what that'll do if they add a rank, because they've been talking about adding a rank mode to it.
Yeah.
Whether that will sort of like be a bit of a buzz for it, because I feel that's a way more controlled ranked environment than the ranked battle royale, because I'm grinding ranked on battle royale right now, and I've hit masters. But as I hit masters, as an Australian, there's two servers I can queue on, right? Australia and Singapore. Singapore, I get 100 ping, and Asia, they region lock Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Australia, all to Japan, Tokyo. So as soon as you hit masters, you have to play Tokyo, and you're just locked. It sucks because I got like 160 ping on it. So yeah. Arena mode would be cool because I'd love to just grind a ranked game where it doesn't require 60 people playing in friggin' some other continent.
I like Apex Arena mode because it means I haven't got to play a battle royale to eventually get to the good bit.
Oh wait, Ketchup, you mean you don't like standing around in a lobby and then flying through the air and then parachuting to the ground? You don't enjoy that?
Oh,
Ketchup, that shocks me.
I totally get why people enjoy playing Battle Royale. And my opinion isn't going to be worth shit considering how popular the genre is with all the, the major games.
Of course.
But it's, it's not my cup of tea because I find in a lot of Battle Royale, Apex is the only Battle Royale that I've ever enjoyed, except for Fall Guys, which is definitely a Battle Royale.
Oh, Fall Guys is great.
But I find very much that Battle Royale, for me, there's too much running around and too much not much happening. And that's why Apex felt really good because the movement is fun. It's fast paced. It actually, when you remove the Battle Royale element, it stands on its own as a really good FPS. I think that if you take a lot of Battle Royale games, if you remove the Battle Royale aspect and you just look at it as an FPS, it fucking barely holds up. Very much so. So Apex can definitely do that as well. And that's why the arena mode is sick, because it just puts you straight into the combat and it's fast, efficient. You can get into a game, kind of does everything I want it to do,
Thinking that was an experiment in ways, because they're making another game, and I'm wondering if they're trying to figure out if, because Battle Royale has just eclipsed everything and it just doesn't seem to go away like a friggin' malignant tumor, right? I wonder if that was them using their well-established game with the player base to test how many people, because they'll have stats. They can see the engagement on that mode, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering how much information they'll get from that, where they might, because they're making a Titanfall 3. If you know Titanfall 2, it released between Battlefield and a big COD. And
it just got overshadowed or something, right?
Man,
and the multiplayer in that,
still.
dude, but the multiplayer in that was super, again, not to bring up Quake, but it was super fast-paced like Quake. And not a lot of people like those kind of super fast FPS games because it's not like Battle Royale where everybody's a winner. Even if you have had a serious brain injury, you could possibly win a game. Stuff like Quake, Titanfall, you can't. You got to be sweating it. You got to be hitting your marks. You got to move properly. You got to position properly. So I'm wondering if Arena's sort of testing that, because a lot of people are getting stuck into it. So sorry, just a thought I had. It's I reckon they might be trying to do a new multiplayer in the future that's not a Battle Royale, because Respawn seem really passionate about everything they do. They don't seem to try and, I know they made a Battle Royale, but they still kept their own spice to it, if that makes sense. It wasn't a traditional Battle Royale. And they brought new things to the table, like the ping system and I hope they do something new.
Going into the future, they don't want to just make Apex Legends 2 and make it play the same.
Yeah.
They want to do something new, probably weeding out some of the crappy elements of it and just kind of funneling people into hey, you'll probably like this. We can do this actually much better.
Well, they're doing something new and different and kicking ass when Fortnite ripped off half of their ideas after it came out and shoved it in their game. The Respawn stuff, the ping, none of that was in Fortnite. None of it. Pretty much every Battle Royale has now.
I played Fortnite and I gave them £15 of my own money so I could play as a Xenomorph. I did it. I did it. I have about 3 games played and I gave them £15. I'm not proud of it, but I can play as Alien now.
Not the V-Bucks, no.
Real quick, I would like to retract what I said about that video sent. I'm a dumbass. I looked up Nintendo Switch Doom guides and I saw that one. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That video is for PS4, so I'm a fucking dumbass.
I noticed the HUD.
And then also, to make it even better, I saw that it came out on May 20th, and I'm like, oh, it came out a week ago, 2020.
Oops.
Oops.
Well,
end the podcast on that. I'm a dumbass. Done.
Yeah, just get
It's
that.
been one of those days.
Get that sampled. Just fucking spam me with it. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. There is no Switch community.
The time is now. Make one, motherfucker.
Time is now to switch things up and become the community leader for this. I'm sorry.
Go forward. Be the champion of the community.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else. If anyone else has closing thoughts, throw them at me.
I mean, I had a nightmare of Doom Eternal in a battle royale style, but that's pretty much all I could share.
Dude, a Doom Eternal Battle Royale would be awesome. It would be reverse Battle Royale, so instead it's all the demons running away from a single Slayer. It's just battle mode, but Battle Royale.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the single Slayer on the Fortnite island, and then like 100 demons like parachuting in from an airplane?
There you go.
It's like
Somebody sees a super shotgun. Could they hold it for me, please? I'd like a super shotgun. Has anyone seen the green armor?
it's like the Fortnite when it introduced Thanos and like everyone was sort of like ganging up on him.
There you go.
Just imagine that, but like with fucking Doomslayer. And like the demons, whoever kills the Doomslayer can pick up like the Slayer rune and they become the Slayer.
Do you guys think the Doomslayer will ever make it into Fortnite? I mean, everyone else is in there.
It made it to
I think it's possible.
If I see Doomslayer in Fortnite before I see him in Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
I mean, I'm of the mindset. I really want to.
Mortal Kombat.
I really want Doom Guy in Smash Bros. But
Dude,
I don't
he'd be
think that's happening.
awesome in Smash. He'd be really cool in Smash.
I think he'd
Like,
be
I
really
feel like
cool.
Master Chief is more likely, and I feel like if we get Master Chief in Smash, we're not getting Doom Guy.
Or we might get him as like a costume for the Mii.
I would cry. Okay.
Yeah, when they put Kratos in Fortnite, I had people asking me, like, hey, what do you think about Kratos being in Fortnite? Doesn't that kind of ruin the character? I'm like, no more than they already ruined him with the last game.
Damn.
That's a spicy take, dude.
Yeah.
All right, motherfucker. No, I don't have anything to say on that.
Just opinions.
In my opinion, God of War 4 is not good.
Okay,
I
but you
didn't
also
like
said
the
you
game.
didn't like BPM, and that game makes my pants happy.
Oh,
hey,
we
man,
can't
it's
talk
okay.
anymore.
I don't play the game, so I can't cancel you. It's okay. I don't play the game, so I can't
Okay.
be offended.
Yeah.
This is a Mayo exposed video. Shut up.
Spud Hunter doesn't have a 4-hour video coming out about me.
I could make one. I would run out of content very fast, but I could try.
Just speak very slowly.
I can't do that. I already talk really fast.
No, you could just speak for like the first 2 minutes, and then you could just spend like the rest of the 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, like
eating a
that
bowl
one
of
guy
cereal
who,
in front of the camera.
I don't remember the content creator, but like he wanted his video to reach 10 minutes, and so he just had like a still image of like a Windows error sign, like to fill the time with like a repeating error sound.
I mean, that's smart though.
Dude, like it feels really dirty when you extend your videos because like I never want to do that, right? Like if I have a video that lasts 3.5 minutes, it's just a short topic, I'm not gonna find 5 minutes of padding to get it to the 8-minute mark so I can run an ad. But you know, guys, like you guys have all made YouTube videos. You know when you make a video and then you edit it and you finish it and it's at like 7:45 and you're like, fuck, there's gotta be like 15 seconds of footage that I could show somewhere to interrupt the point
outro.
I'm saying. Or I'll extend the outro by 15 seconds.
I'm actually kind of guilty about that. I've done that
Everyone is, as long as you're not wasting people's time, it's fine.
I feel like
No.
I'm in a weird spot where like I usually have a lot to talk about, and like the subjects of my videos are pretty broad. Like I never really talk about a specific thing. Like I try to cover everything about a single game in a video. So I haven't run into that problem specifically yet. It's definitely on the table.
If you make a video that's about like a specific thing, like
Yeah,
Like-
which
like-
I don't want to do. I like my current formula, but I mean it never say never.
it happens when, like, if you're focusing on a certain game, like if you're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this certain weapon or this one strategy, and then you
Yeah.
get to the 7:45 mark and you're like, fuck.
I mean
I don't
that
have
was
anything
basically.
more. I don't have anything else to
Okay,
say.
I know I just defended the video, but BPM or the game. I love BPM, but oh my god, making a video about it with my formula was really difficult.
Oh yeah.
So I guess I could say that I had that sort of problem where I'm just like, what the fuck can I talk about?
Sure.
Like it wasn't like out of desperation to make the video longer, but just that feeling of like, I don't know what else to say about this game. It's self-explanatory.
There's only so many ways you can say the game is red.
Yeah. All right. Sometimes it's yellow, okay?
It is yellow sometimes. I'll give you that. I'm sorry. I love you, man.
Shut up.
guys, this has been great. Like we don't do this Doom Eternal podcast every week. This isn't a constant thing, so it's been really cool just to kind of get together with everyone again, and Ketchup, Spud. It's been great to touch base with you, and Buckio, Trav. It's been great to have you on as well.
Buckio O'Hare.
But yeah, this was fun. If you're ever looking for a burner guest again, I'd love to volunteer for that because this was fun.
Sure.
Yeah, this was great. I mean, it was fantastic to be able to speak with all of you guys. You know, after like consistently watching your videos and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've actually sat down and had a proper discussion with any of you guys. I mean, Mayo kind of, because he like backseated me playing brawler mode that one time. But that's the closest I got.
Brawler X comes out next week, by the way.
Shit, I still need to reinstall brawler mode because I moved computers. Have you guys ever had to reinstall Doom Eternal on a new computer?
No.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, the save data is not saved in the cloud.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, it's stored in your app data folder on your C drive. Luckily, I had the foresight to back it up and move it over to the new computer, but a friend of mine got a new computer, reinstalled Doom Eternal, and it reset everything down to 0. He didn't have any of his skins or anything.
That's weird because for me, when I built my PC and I installed Doom Eternal, my saves were up in the cloud.
Okay, I don't know what to say then. What the fuck? Because like for me, like I reinstalled it, I looked at it, nothing was there, but like I just reinstalled placed my backup that I had of my save data, and then it was there. So I don't know. Well, wait. Did you? Never mind. It's not a big deal.
Ketchup, did I tell you what Brawler X is gonna be?
Not yet, actually, no.
Well, I mean, it's my brawler rules from last summer where you like certain weapons and upgrades are banned. But Brawler X is a tag 2 mod that prohibits the chainsaw and makes it to where you can only get ammo back from the hammer.
Oh shit!
It is fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw you streaming that before this.
It's
nuts.
It comes out next week. Next week, I think people are gonna like it a lot. I'm try to get as many people to play it as I can. But yeah, guys, this has been really cool to catch up with everyone and have this conversation. I appreciate you guys talking with us. And like you were saying, I don't remember who was saying it, whether it was Bucky or Trav. You're saying that this is the first time that you've gotten to really like sit down and talk with us. That is part of the reason we started this thing, because it is just really nice to sit down and just talk to different people from different corners of this community, and for everyone to know each other at least on some kind of level. I think it just makes everything better.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Spud, you wanna take us out? You wanna?
Oh wait,
you wanna
hold on. I do have one thing I want to say actually.
What's
up? Spud, you motherfucker.
Hello.
I wouldn't have been able to beat Ultra Nightmare that first time if it wasn't for your guide.
Cheers,
way back
man.
in the day. So
Yeah.
hey, good shit. I just want to say that before we wrap this up.
Bless the Spud.
I need to update it. It's so out of date with all the changes.
Probably.
So I made a comment once saying, the chain gun shield, I don't need that.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Now it's like a taking us out. It's been awesome having you guys on. Always a pleasure being a part of it with yourself, Ketchup and Mayo. And I don't know, I'll do the old self-plug thing. I stream on Twitch, the Spud Hunter at twitch.tv. I do the odd Doom WOD still, and then at the moment I'm grinding Apex Ranked because I'm just a nerd. And I have an OnlyFans for feet pics. And Ketchup, what are you doing these days outside of your casting magic?
Making YouTube videos. Basically,
There we go.
Dude, you have
Ketchup
some
on
great
YouTube.
Mortal Kombat content that's been coming out lately. Everyone go
I
check
love
out
the Tremor video.
check out Ketchup's YouTube channel because he has some great Mortal Kombat stuff.
I appreciate that. I've been able to make more of a like actual focus on YouTube these days because my weekly commentary has kind of lightened a bit, which means I've been able to kind of fix my sleeping pattern and kind of go back into making YouTube a pretty major focus. So the videos that normally take a long time to make now take less time, which is a big relief.
Your video on the Mortal Kombat 9 guide is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And fuck that guy.
Like I think back, it's like 10 years ago, and I think back, we really did go a full year without frame data.
According to the comment section, we don't need it.
Oh yeah, it's not necessary. You don't need to know that like Kenshi's EX Rising Karma is safe on block. No, you don't need to know that. Cabal block advantage. You don't need to know that stuff.
Yeah, fuck that. They didn't talk about Cabal at all in that guide. They were too busy talking about Nightwolf being so good.
Dude, that forward 3, that's not a low. That's tough.
Man, yeah, fucking so much is wrong with that. But hey, that's why I made a fucking video about it.
Buckio, Trav guy, you guys want to make any plugs before we go?
Buckio, you first.
I was gonna say you first, but
Bastard.
okay. Shoot, my monitor just turned off for a second. Plugs. I have a YouTube channel. I make YouTube videos. At the moment, primarily Doom. Gonna be spreading out a little bit in terms of content, but yeah, I just make YouTube videos for fun, and I stream goofy stuff on Twitch as well, where my chat has TTS, and they make my life a living hell.
Yeah, I found that out on accident. I joined in on your Doom 3 VR stream, and I'm like, oh, who's that in the background? Oh wait, that's text to speech.
Yeah,
I thought there was someone like talking outside my room at first. I was so baffled by it.
I was doing the Tag 1 UN, and like everyone in like the fucking comment section, they kept like adding hee at the end, so they would just type down saying "Welcome, Great Slayer," and it kept killing me.
But let's see. For my content, I do video game reviews over at YouTube.whatever Trav guy. I try to focus, like I try to vary my content. I try not to focus on a single game for multiple videos if I can help it. I've got a video coming up soon on Viscera Fest and the original Metal Gear.
Ooh.
Yeah, the MSX one. So that'll be fun. I stream on twitch.tv/the what is it? Trav Guy TV. I really just stream whatever the fuck I want, so there's no real schedule there. But that's really it for plugs. I don't have a lot.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. And also for myself, Brawler Mode X comes out next week. Make sure you check out my channel for that. Thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of the unofficial Doom Eternal podcast. I mean, I guess we are the official one. There's no other one, is there? There might be. I mean, if you know of any other Doom Eternal podcasts, link them in the comments. We'd be happy to hear other people.
I mean, if you can get Hugo on the podcast, I think it's official.
Hugo and Josh.
Josh has said that he's down. We just haven't set it up yet. And Hugo, I mean, who knows? I don't know how complicated that is, but I mean, there is a future of this podcast. So hopefully someday.
One day you will be the official Doom Eternal podcast. The official
one. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is the Doom Eternal podcast. Ketchup, Mayo, and Spud. Trav Guy, Buckio. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace.
Very nice.